家Alex Campbell 去分享 The Truth About Cholesterol。那么接下来呢，由我为大家去翻译，可能有一些英文上的限制，还请大家多多包涵。好，谢谢。
Hi. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. My topic is about cholesterol, and one of the reasons I wanted to do cholesterol was, in my experience, there's a lot of misinformation about cholesterol and how it affects your health.
OK， 那么我们今天呢，我们的Alex 先生会给我们分享，就是整个的，关于胆固醇的一个话题。那么在过去呢，有好多的一些资料可能会有一些错误等等。那么但是呢，我们现在是错误或者是缺乏，那我们现在一起来看一看。好，谢谢。
Okay. So I'm gonna jump right in. When I did the presentation the first time, I realized that it's probably best I start with a test case, which was myself. So what I did in about just over a year ago, is I took a very detailed lipid panel.
那么在过去一年之前呢，那么他在做整个的关于脂肪的一些去研究。
So what you're seeing on the screen, this is a blood test. It's called an NMR lipid panel, and it stands for nuclear magnetic resonance. And they can actually go in there and take a look at the actual molecular structure and do a very detailed count of your lipids or your cholesterol profile. So you can see mine, not very healthy, I guess, by what we would consider healthy. My LDL-P, which is the particle count of the lipoprotein or LDL cholesterol, is quite high, so it's at 1464.
OK， 那么这个整个的这个表。Sorry,
yeah.
This all the chart is from you.
This is mine. These are my samples. Yeah.
那其实我刚刚的问题就是说，他的整个的这个表格是来自他自己的一个检查报告。那么我们会看到第一个 LDL-P， 那其实呢，这是一个低胆固醇的一个数据，是一个非常高的一个数字。
Right. So the P and the C, how they work is, P is the actual particle count of cholesterol, and C is the lipoprotein, the container. So fat and cholesterol can't travel through the blood the way they are. They need to be wrapped in a lipoprotein. That makes them soluble or able to go in your bloodstream. So those P, both the LDL, you can see, which we consider bad cholesterol, are quite high. And yeah, if you go down a little bit, you can see the HDL, which is good cholesterol. It's at 70. It's not bad. And triglycerides, which is the other health marker that people consider bad, it's also quite high.
大家看到下面一个数据，就是 HDL， 就是属于高密度胆固醇，那么大约是70，那就是没有说特别的不好。那么下面还有一个就是我们大家耳熟能详的三优甘脂，那么大约是90，那么这个不是那么太好。那么下边的一个总胆固醇量就是 cholesterol total 是197。
Right. So I'm going to go to the next slide. So this is 1 year later.
这是我们一年后的整个的一个变化。
Okay. And you can see what happened to my LDL, both the P and C values.
OK， 大家有没有发现我们的低密度胆固醇从 P 的刚刚上一页是1400多，那么现在已经降到754，那么还有另外一个 C 呢是已经降到79。
All right, so the LDL-P from the previous slide, so if I go back, it's 1464, 109. If I go forward, it's now 754 and 79.
OK， 那么我们现在会发现我们的高密度胆固醇
Well, is before, after?
Yeah, OK， 那么我们现在的高密度胆固醇涨到90，然后呢，三优甘脂的数据我们已经降到46，非常棒。那么现在整个的总胆固醇量是178，那么现在跟原来的数据已经有非常大的一个变化。
Okay. And if we go, sorry, what happened? Okay, that's the last one. So, okay, so this, and if we go, the HDL, sorry, let's go, there we go. Old, new. So HDL has actually gone up, and you can see the triglyceride number went from 48 to from 90 down
对
to 46.
我们三油甘脂的数据从90降到46，所以变化是非常大的。
Right. So it's very interesting how I managed to do this. So what I do for a living is I'm a health and wellness coach, and it's kind of my job. So for example, if you go to a doctor and the doctor says you need to lower your cholesterol or you need to do this or you need to do that, it's kind of my job to get you to figure out how to do it and how to make sure that it lasts for kind of the rest of your life. So I have a health group, and there's about 117 people in there, and there are a lot of people with cholesterol issues and high blood pressure. So I use myself as an example to show them what actually works without medication. Yeah, sure.
那么在这里呢，我给大家翻译一下。那么刚刚他说了，说大家看医生的时候，医生会给他很多的一个建议，就是我们要把我们胆固醇总量要降下来。那么接下来呢，他有一个大约有170多人的一个group，就是一个团体。那么他呢是想把他自己作为一个这个团体的第一人去用饮食等等去测试他这个就是整个的胆固醇的一个变化。
Okay. So this slide here, this is the diet or the way that I ate for a little more than a year to get those values down. So you can notice right at the very top, that number, it's 4 to 6 eggs per day, right? Eggs loaded with cholesterol, loaded with saturated fat, but that's kind of the biggest change that I made in the diet for that week.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, that after, right?
This is the diet that I went. So after I did the first test, then this is the diet that I put myself on. Yeah.
那么在第一次的检查之后呢，那么他把他的整个的饮食就是改变。那么现在他的整个饮食改变从什么地方呢？就是从蛋白质，那么每天4到6个鸡蛋，然后2到3个就是 service， 就是一些 nuts， 就是 service 是指就是我们每一份，就是每天每一份。那每一份呢是一般我们是指每一个人的，因为每一个人的就是size 和体型不一样，就指每一个人手掌这么大的一块的，其实我们就按照一个 serving，OK。然后之后呢，还有一些大量的蛋白质，大家会看到一些什么羊肉啊、牛肉啊、鸡肉啊，然后还有一些就是我们比较健康的一些 Canadian 的 bacon， 就是我们加拿大生产的，就是那些就是那个 organic 的这些就是那种猪肉，还有一些鱼等等。那么2到5个 serving 的 fruit serving， 就是说2到5个5份的水果，然后它是没有谷物，就是没有谷物的一些，像是一些小麦啊、米饭啊，然后还有一些燕麦等等。那么接下来也是没有一些像快餐类的，或者是已经就是说加工过的，就是工业性的食品等等。那么在这个在其他的一些饭店去吃这些东西，所以他的就是对他的饮食要求比较就是在改变。
Right. So major difference is increase in what I consider healthy fat and a decrease in white carbs or refined carbohydrates. That's kind of the major difference.
那么他的考虑就是说，他要增强他的一些好的脂肪是好的蛋白质，然后还有一些就是降低它的整个的就是我们碳水化合物的摄取。
Right. Okay, so this was before, and you can see most of the changes. I still was having a daily smoothie, increased eggs, but things like that are most people normally consider healthy. I just decided to get rid of oatmeal, oat bran, and a major difference things like potato chips, ice cream, pie, baked goods. I love ice cream. I love pie. It's fantastic.
OK， 那么这个呢是在他以前的饮食，那么大家会看到他的整个饮食的一些变化，就是在以前之后，他会有更多的一些碳水化合物啊，然后还有一些其他的，比如像甜食，像是一些薯片啊，然后还有就是冰激凌啊，这些派啊等等。那么也喜欢吃那种披萨这种的快餐食品。那么也会有一些其他燕麦啊等等。他的饮食就是现在就是结构，就是饮食结构会有很多的变化。
Right. So that's the change in diet. Lifestyle-wise, still didn't really do much in terms of exercise. Did sleep well, so a lot of other lifestyle factors I made changes, but for the most part, it was the increase in healthy fats and the decrease in refined carbohydrates that made the difference.
那么他呢，其实在这里呢，虽然没有做很多的一些运动，但是呢，他做了很多的一些饮食上的一些改变。那么我们现在呢，就是那么他的整个的一个变化就是睡眠的很好，然后呢，还有一些其他的一些改变，还有一些饮食等等的这些蛋白质的一些改变。
Okay, so that's how I made the change. So now I'm actually going to go and get back to cholesterol and the reason why I decided that it was important to actually perform this experiment. So up here, I think these are probably 4 of the major misconceptions about cholesterol. I think this is something that needs to be addressed. I think people need to be informed. So these 4 points, I think, are really what convinced me to do this experiment.
那么现在接下来有4个问题是让他去真正去研究关于胆固醇的。那其实呢，也有一些他觉得就是说不是一些正确的信息。那么在这里，这是为什么他会考虑到这些，就是考虑到他去研究胆固醇。
Right. So you can see what they are. So one is eating too much cholesterol is going to cause problems. That's not true. LDL is bad cholesterol. HDL is good cholesterol. Not really. Your body produces LDL as a response to what you eat. So if you eat something, if your body didn't produce that LDL, it would harm you. So it's just like insulin. Insulin isn't bad. It's a response to what you eat. So really what you're doing is you're doing something bad and your body's doing its best to compensate.
Sorry.
Sure.
首先第一点呢，就是我们一些错误的时候，就是很多人都在说是我们吃很多的一些胆固醇是不好的。那么这样的话，就是其实也是不正确的。那么还有一点就是说，说是我们的低密度胆固醇是不好的胆固醇，高密度胆固醇是好的胆固醇。那么一直就很多人是这样认为，但是呢，其实是我们身体去生产低密度的胆固醇，所以呢就不能特别武断的会说他们是全部都是错误的，所以这个观点也是不是正确的。
The other 2, high cholesterol leads to fatty deposits in arteries, eventually causing atherosclerosis or cardiovascular disease. There is a connection between cholesterol and these 2, I guess, risk factors, but it's also because of the presence of insulin. So if you remove insulin from the picture or insulin spikes, you don't get the fatty deposits, or cholesterol doesn't have